Well, I'm probably like every guy that had a friend who introduced him to the whole pornography world, and my friend was Larry, who lived across the street. What pornography did in my life was it introduced me to the fine activity of self-stimulation. And it was kind of interesting because as a young believer, I would read in the Bible, and I didn't see anything about thou shalt not do this. So I kind of concluded, well, it's not there, it must be okay. And I chose to ignore all the red flag signals, you know, the guilt that went with that, and the fact that, man, I didn't want anybody catching me doing this, my parents, for heaven's sakes, or anybody. It was just my little secret. And I figured, well, when I get married someday, you know, my wife will take care of that need for me. Got married, and lo and behold, something interesting happened. It didn't go away. I carried into my marriage that same deception, and the lie that I lived under was, as long as she doesn't know about it, it's not hurting anybody. I don't know, it was just this demon in my life that was constantly there, and I would battle it, and I'd do okay for a couple of weeks and be fine, but then something would come along. I mean, especially in the years where we were having kids and stuff, or Julie was pregnant, you know, I rationalized all sorts of different things in my life to just say, well, it's okay, you know, I'm thinking about her when I'm doing this. But if I'd really been honest, I would have said, what are you thinking about her? You know, is this extolling her and holding her up with honor, or is this just you using her? One day, Julie and I had a very interesting conversation, and we got candid with each other, and eyeball to eyeball with my wife, I confessed this, and she said two things to me that I'll never forget. She said, Bruce, it's like you got a mistress in this relationship. And then she said, what's the deal? Am I not good enough for you that you got to do that? And it was a hard conversation. It was all it took for me at that point to say, you know what, Julie, I don't ever want to do this to you again. And in fact, I told her, I said, Jewel, if I blow it, you're going to be the first one to know about it. And I'm telling you, that became powerful motivation for me, because every time I was tempted, you know, to go there, this little voice in my head said, Bruce, do you really want to have that conversation with Julie? Was I still tempted? Absolutely. But boy, every time I thought, no, I don't want to go there. I think that there's a real deception that goes on here. When Jesus said they even look on a woman to lust for her, you're committing adultery. You're violating the very thing that I intended for this thing, which I intended to be a representation of a union between God and me, the most intimate relationship you can have. And here you are desecrating this thing. I can't rationalize. I can't make that work with Scripture the way that I see it. And so don't minimize this. Don't live under the lie that it's no big deal.